Why are people so rude about my daughter's autism? What is it? What is it about this type of autism that can make not just strangers, I'm talking about family members, your friends, people that are near and dear to you, become so rude? And when I say rude, I'm talking about being dismissive, belittling, uninterested, unresponsive. I've never seen people who can be so caring and loving become so apathetic. Oh, there's nothing wrong with your child. She's normal. Oh, Ruby's just doing what kids do at that age. You just need to be more firm with her. Now, I feel I feel privileged because I'm in a unique position because I know where that rudeness is coming from because I held these beliefs myself, right? I I hadn't always come to this realization. It's only in the last 2, 3 years that I've woken up that Ruby doesn't just need some more discipline or she doesn't just need to fall in line. My daughter has got demand avoidance, also known as pathological demand avoidance. And this is a type of autism where her nervous system struggles to regulate. And I was lucky to have that moment with my daughter when I tried to give her a timeout, which is, by the way, a terrible idea for a child with demand avoidance because they're trying to express a need. And I was punishing her because I didn't know what I didn't know by saying, you need a timeout. And she cried and said to me, Daddy, I don't want to be angry. And for some reason, those words pierced. They just cut right through. And it made me realize this kid needs help. She doesn't need punishment. So, where did it begin? And what is the first reason that I think people are rude about my child's autism or your child's autism with demand avoidance? Well, it's quite simply stereotypes. If you think about it, people have a reference of what autism looks like, right? And the autism that our children have, it doesn't look like what people think it looks like based on what they've seen with autistic children. People are rude or dismissive or try to lecture me or override my opinion when I'm trying to explain the challenge that my child has. Well, it's because it doesn't fit in with the stereotype. I had a friend, a dear friend, who told me that autism looks like Rain Man from the movie with Dustin Hoffman in the 80s. Am I showing my age, by the way? Mate, that's what autism looks like, he said. Rain Man is a guy who's introverted, physically stimming, incredible with numbers. So how could my daughter, a chatty, sociable little person, when you warm up to her and you get to know her, how could she be autistic? So when you see everyday demands like get dressed or brush your teeth or get to school, whatever it is, for the people looking outside in, when she kicks off, well, that's a naughty child apparently, or that's bad behavior, or that's poor parenting. And if you try and explain what's really going on, you get the rudeness, you get the belittling, you get the dismissiveness. And it's really frustrating as a parent to hear those types of things. But you've also got to understand where it's coming from for other people because of stereotypes. Reason number two why people are rude about this type of autism, well, feelings of shame. The idea that a child could be different or have a neurodevelopmental condition, it can feel uncomfortable, right? I believe it can bring up their own fears or own unresolved beliefs that there can't surely be anything wrong with our children. We're a good family, right? We're a healthy family. And so sometimes there's a sense of denial or of guilt that having an autistic child somehow it reflects poorly on the family or the parenting. I thought I raised my son better than this and I should have raised their child better than this and parent better than that. So that's a projection. And you try your best to explain it, but this is a very difficult thing to work through and often you can't. So of course, autism isn't something wrong with a child. It's not something that I believe that I need to fix, but that neurodivergence is different. And because of cultural attitudes or generational beliefs about neurodivergence and old school parenting ideas, they can feel a sense of shame. And when PDA is involved, where the child might appear outwardly capable, sociable, chatty, charming, smart, switched on, when that child then refuses ordinary tasks, well, it's bad parenting again. Family members begin to sort of like minimize those challenges because a child should be able to get their jacket on. And it's actually to do with you as a parent, apparently, because you're not handling things properly. This can feel deeply isolating for the parents because you're already doing what you can to support the child, but then you're sort of made to feel under pressure and feel bad that you can't get your child to fall in line. Sometimes, our families feel a sense of shame, and that's why the rudeness appears. Number 3, why are people rude to our children? Well, inconvenience. It's inconvenient, isn't it? It takes time, it takes mental space, it takes a lot of emotional energy to listen to someone, to slow down, to understand something as complex as autism. When you're out at the barbecue or a birthday or the coffee shop, or if you're down the pub, wherever you are, bumping into people. And that's the reality of things. And that's why I say I don't take it personal, because most people are busy dealing with their own lives. You live in a fast-paced city like London, as I do, and everyone's juggling work pressure, the cost of living. You're trying to pay bills, navigate constant change. Life can feel heavy and it can feel uncertain. And when you live in such an environment with these types of dynamics, people are naturally drawn towards convenient conversations, and they try and move past and dismiss what you're saying, and they try and give you this advice that you never asked for. They don't have the bandwidth for the conversations that are complicated, that are emotionally draining. I understand. So trying to explain PDA to help someone understand what life looks like for your child and why their behavior isn't bad or naughty, it takes massive amounts of effort from you and them. It's rare for me to walk into a conversation where a person is listening to understand versus waiting to speak, to really have that curiosity, which is what they need if they really want to learn about what PDA is. And most people, they haven't got the time. That's really what it comes down to. They're just having a bit of small talk with you, and they're trying to impart what they think is useful advice and guidance. But as we know, if we've come from these positions and these paradigms, ourselves, we know it's not a place of understanding. I think Carl Jung says it right. It's easy to judge, not so easy to think, to paraphrase. Number 4, the 4th reason why people can be rude about your child's pathological demand avoidance is quite simply, it's not that well understood. It's not that well understood. So it's not consistently recognized across all healthcare or education systems or settings. And even with the broader autism community, would you believe it, right? Within that world, in some countries, PDA it's not even officially diagnosed. So people that say you've got, you're on the spectrum with traits showing PDA. And even when the experts see it, they can misinterpret it as behavioral problems or oppositional defiance, some call it, or attachment issues, rather than recognizing that it's a distinct profile of autism with its own very specific needs. So, bloody hell, if the professionals themselves are catching up, is it any wonder that society at large struggles to make sense of PDA? Parents, again, we're left feeling isolated, stuck between a child whose needs are misunderstood and people around us that we love and that we trust, who normally support us, who also don't understand us. And the 5th reason is, it's quite visceral and it seems very primal, but it's true. It's invisible. You don't look autistic, right? It ties in with the stereotype. People assume if a child looks fine, they are fine. And that invisibility, I guess it leads to misunderstanding. Look, mums, dads, parents, guardians, whoever you are, I don't tell you this because I claim to have any solutions, but I will tell you, I think when we make the effort to understand the people around us. It will help us with our relationships. It will keep the door a little bit open for when they're ready. And a lot of things are about timing. And it's also accepting the other's response, which is you don't need to convince anyone. Also, you've got to think about your mental health. I know that sounds like a paradox between keeping open to teach and not being interested, but you've got to protect your mental health and you've got to go with what works for you as well. After all, you've probably got your hands full with your own child. But when we understand that people are rude about our children's condition, it's not because they want to be rude or horrible or sinister or nasty. Well, it's quite simply because everyone's coming from somewhere, whether it's stereotypes, inconvenience, feelings of shame, and everything else. Have a great day, and I hope you're enjoying the weather. Oh, please do like and subscribe.